Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a pretty wild piece of source material. It claims to have unearthed a suppressed, highly effective household blueprint straight out of a 1950s manual. I know, it sounds bold, right? But the author's whole premise is that modern convenience is actually a trap, and the real secret to household efficiency was figured out decades ago, only to be conveniently buried away.
The text immediately hooks us by challenging a norm we literally all just accept, like why do we replace certain things every 30 days? The author is demanding that we actively stop and question the design behind these products that constantly run out in our homes. Are we replacing them every single month because we actually have to? Or is it by design?
And man, the author does not hold back here. They make a super aggressive argument, stating that if you're stuck in this monthly buying loop, you are, and I quote, literally throwing your hard-earned money away. It's definitely provocative. It's specifically designed to shake us up and make us view our totally routine grocery runs as this massive, unnecessary drain on our wallets. All right, moving on to section 1, the corporate secret. Let's look at this idea of planned dependence. So what exactly is planned dependence? Well, according to the source, massive corporations keep their cash flowing by engineering products that intentionally foster reliance. Instead of giving us actual permanent solutions for our homes, the whole system is built entirely on your guaranteed continuous monthly purchases. The core argument here is that longevity hasn't just been forgotten, it's been purposefully engineered right out of the products we buy. Which brings us to this really stark ideological contrast the author paints. On one side, you've got the 1950s, an era they characterize as the peak of self-sufficiency and independence. And on the flip side, today's endless disposable culture and subscription models. The text essentially claims we've traded our true household independence for a kind of artificial convenience that just keeps us perpetually paying. Let's transition into section 2, the 1950s method, where the claim is that absolutely no lab is needed. Now, you might be wondering, what's the actual payoff for going DIY here? Well, the magic number is 10. The source claims that using this vintage technique costs mere pennies to pull off, but gives you a product that lasts a staggering 10 times longer than the equivalent stuff you'd grab off of a store shelf. 10 times! That's the massive metric they use to highlight just how incredibly inefficient our modern mainstream products really are. To achieve these kind of results, the author lays out a very specific, though admittedly mysteriously anonymous, 3-step blueprint. You've got Step 1, an ingredient A that acts as the base. Step 2, ingredient B, which serves as the catalyst. And finally, Step 3, something they call the zero-waste seal. Now sure, they keep the exact identities of these ingredients hidden in this initial pitch, but the structured approach definitely implies it's a simple, accessible process literally anyone can follow at home. I want to zoom in on that second step because the text really hammers this point home. The catalyst, ingredient B. The source defines this as the exact component that triggers a reaction modern companies spend millions trying to mimic, and they try to do it with cheap chemicals. The author pitches this catalyst as the ultimate secret weapon of the 1950s manual, basically allowing everyday folks to totally bypass those expensive, artificial mixtures pushed by big brands. And then we get to the longevity claim. 1. If you nail that final step, the supposedly often missed zero-waste seal, the text asserts your homemade solution won't just last a month. No, it'll remain fully effective for an entire year. 1 full year from just a single batch. According to the source, missing this seal is exactly the linchpin where most people fail when they try to recreate these vintage methods themselves. Okay, let's head into our final section, section 3, reclaiming your independence and cutting those corporate strings. Right about here is where the source totally pivots from just giving us a DIY recipe to launching a broader movement. They clearly anticipate people are going to be skeptical about these unnamed vague ingredients, right? So they point you to a comprehensive, documented guide. This guide promises the exact ratios, ingredient sourcing, and all the safety measures. But here's the kicker. By also promising a steady stream of new, lost secrets every single week, the author is actively trying to build a whole community centered around self-reliance. And honestly, this quote perfectly captures what the source material is really trying to do. Once you learn this, you're not a customer anymore. You are a free person. That is the ultimate pitch. It's not just about saving a couple of bucks on your household items. The author is actively advocating for a total ideological shift to just cut the strings of corporate consumerism once and for all. So as we wrap up this explainer, I need to make one thing absolutely clear. We aren't endorsing these unverified 1950s methods, and we're definitely not here to validate whatever these hidden ingredients are. We're simply and impartially unpacking the text. But you have to admit, the source's aggressive, compelling pitch leaves us with a genuinely fascinating question to chew on. Are you trapped by your modern subscriptions? It really does make you step back and wonder how much of what we buy every single month is genuinely necessary, and how much is just a habit engineered by corporate design. Definitely something to think about the very next time your credit card auto-renews.